You're telling me this jury is impartial? Mark Callahan's voice echoed across the courtroom. Your Honor, I move to dismiss the entire panel. They're all black. That's not justice, it's bias. The room froze. At the edge of the jury box, Gloria Bennett folded her hands slowly. Her back remained straight. Her eyes didn't flinch. Around her, murmurs swirled, gasps from the audience, whispers from court officers. Judge Peters adjusted his glasses. On what grounds, counselor? Callahan didn't hesitate. This case involves a white police officer. The jury composition is visibly unbalanced. And then Gloria finally moved. Just a quiet inhale, nothing dramatic, but something about her stillness silenced the room. Who was this woman? And why did she look completely unbothered? What she said next would change everything. Mark Callahan paced. I have every right to a fair trial for my client. You assume we can't be fair? Gloria asked, her voice low but firm. He turned, startled. No one had expected her to speak, not yet. I beg your pardon? Mark raised an eyebrow. I didn't interrupt, she replied, calm, but I won't be silent while you erase our integrity. Some jurors glanced at her. A few straightened their posture. Gloria looked directly at the judge. If the defense questions our fairness based on skin color alone, then perhaps it's not the jury that's biased. For a moment, even Judge Peters said nothing. And that pause, it was louder than any gavel. Mark leaned in, flustered. May I ask your profession, ma'am? The courtroom held its breath. Gloria smiled faintly. I'm a tenured professor of constitutional law at Howard University. I teach legal ethics. I wrote my dissertation on jury selection and racial bias. Silence. Then ripples. The court stenographer stopped typing. Someone in the gallery gasped. Mark froze. His lips parted, then shut again. He looked like a man who just realized he'd set fire to his own briefcase. The judge cleared his throat. Counselor, do you still wish to proceed with your motion? Mark swallowed hard. No, Your Honor. But the damage had already been done. Whispers filled the gallery. Some nodded in quiet admiration. Others simply stared. Gloria adjusted her seat. She didn't gloat, didn't smile. A bailiff leaned toward a junior officer. Damn, that's Professor Bennett? The younger one nodded, wide-eyed. Back at the bench, Judge Peters resumed the trial, but the mood had shifted. Mark Callahan sat stiffly, no longer bold, no longer smug. He couldn't bring himself to look at the jury again. And Gloria? She simply watched the proceedings, her expression unreadable, unshaken, unmoved. The room finally saw her, not as a black woman to dismiss, but as a presence to reckon with. The trial adjourned. As jurors rose to leave, Gloria stayed behind for a beat. She looked toward the defense table, not with anger, just understanding. The kind that comes from decades of weathering storms in silence. Then she turned. Outside the courthouse, the sun had begun to set, casting long shadows across the steps. A young black law student stood nearby, clutching her notebook. Professor Bennett, I saw what you did. Gloria nodded once, gently. Sometimes presence speaks louder than protest. She walked on. No fanfare, no applause. But the story would be told, and retold, and remembered. But the story would be told, and retold, and remembered.